Hi, and welcome to this EUR Web exclusive. I'm Stephanie Rivers. You're watching an exclusive Ready to Love exit interview segment. Each week, we'll be bringing to you exit interviews from cast members who were told you're not ready to love, and we'll find out what happened when the camera stopped rolling that caused them to be sent home and to become an OUTcast member. We're multicasting on several platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The second episode of OWN's reality dating show, Ready to Love Season 6, aired last Friday night. Dominika Hawkins is the first woman cast member to be forced to walk away. So she's here today to talk to us about her experience and what really happened. Welcome to the show, Dominika.
Having me.
Now, I'm going to be asking you questions, but just in case there's someone who wants to chime in, we've got a few people in the chat as well. I'm going to put this link in the chat. So if anyone wants to chime in, we'll bring them on and see if they have a question or perspective that I didn't have. But essentially, we want to start with this. So you were born and raised in Miami, so you know the game of love and how it's played in Miami. Did you think that there would be being a cast member on Ready to Love would show you a different selection of eligible men from Miami?
I did, and I think it did. That's the one thing that I was hoping the whole entire time before we met the cast. Like, please don't let me know nobody personally there. So yeah, and I think it gave me that because I didn't know one person there.
Okay, and so were you still surprised though at that you left so early? Did you think it's going to be different?
I did. I was very, 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 very surprised. I was very surprised on a lot of levels. Once I went back and they aired the show, I didn't know that I was being judged by the women. For one, I didn't get that memo, so I missed it. And number two, um, the fact that we went home or they judged us at the first night because the mix and mingle, I think what should have been like a get to know kind of thing. So when they put us in a bottom, I'm like, I was talking to everybody and I felt like I was having a good time, but maybe I was having too much of a good time. And that's not something that the men was looking for. Seems like the women either. So
So now you mentioned you didn't know you were being judged by the men and the women. So when you looked back at some of the comments from cast members, Randall said that you were putting out homegirl vibes. Mike told nephew Tommy that you were too loud for him, and then Sharice said that you were loud and not feminine enough. Now, did you realize that they felt that way before you watched that episode?
well, let me say this. Um Mike, maybe. I'm kind of figuring Mike probably knew something about me before I got there because as soon as he got there, he walked into the mixer. He was like, I said, "Hi, I'm Dominika." He was like, "Oh, I hurt you." And I was like, "You hurt me?" He was like, "Yeah, I hurt you when I walked in." I was like, "Oh, so you've been here for a while." I can't remember if he had said he just walked in or something like that. So he was very kind of ugh from the beginning. Sharice, I didn't really get a chance to talk to her because it was a dating show. So I was talking to the guys. Some of the girls was really, really cool. So we kind of like grouped up and was talking to the guys together. Um, Randall took me by surprise, but I didn't take it as a bad thing as far as a homegirl. Randall is a whole lot younger than me. So he probably looked at me like a big sister or something like that. So Randall's statement didn't really bother me. Mike seemed a little off at first, and then he kind of warmed up. So I was like, maybe he needs to be warmed up a little bit because he just got there. As a reminder, we come in at different times. So at that point, I probably had 2 glasses of wine. He didn't have any, which he doesn't drink At least that's what he said that day. So maybe I was already in the mix of having a party and he felt that way. But I can't say that what he's some of the things he said was a little bit shocking for me. But the fact that he was standoffish from me the whole entire time, he kind of made that known from the beginning.
So, is that a surprise to you that you got that feedback, and not just from one person, but a couple of people, and not just from men, but from a woman, that you're loud, or that you're giving off homegirl vibes, or did you already know that about yourself, or do you agree with that at all?
I do know that I am the life of the party, and I won't take that away. And I'm gonna continue to be the life of the party. When I walk in the room, I own it. I do know that. So the way they perceived it is on them. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I walked in the room, I was myself, and I was enjoying myself, and I was enjoying the people that I actually met, who I have never met before. So for them to say I was loud was a little crazy, because then when I talked to other people who was there, they like all of us was loud. We all were having a good time. So how did they take that from you? And I don't know if they got together. I'm really um a little disturbed that they came across like that. I can't say that Randall's statement mean that I was loud. Maybe I was just having a little bit too much fun. But as far as Sharice and Mike and there's 20 of us, it really don't matter what they thought, because nobody else thought that. Everybody thought that the vibe was evenly across the board. um Even Brandy, like in one of my interviews, they asked like who would be somebody that you would hang out with afterwards. I said Katie and then Brandy from the jump. And so to me, that means that they had the same personality. I don't know what Sharice and Mike was on. I don't care. Like I said before, I walk in the room, I own it, and I am the life of the party. And everybody that comes in contact with me says that, and my whole entire family says that. So I was enjoying myself, maybe like everybody else should have been. And so they wouldn't have been so focused on me doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So no,
because maybe it was that you were, like you said, taking the attention away from them, and they chose
absolutely.
to perceive it as she's loud, when you were
Absolutely.
just being yourself, and it's on them to be to attract, instead
Right.
of trying to say, make negative light of how you are.
Especially at a mixer where everybody is drinking and enjoying themselves. I could see if we were at church, at a funeral, we were at a mixer where we all were enjoying ourselves, and a little nervous at the beginning because it was something new for most of us. So that was different for me too. So I'm kind of real confused. You would think I was there, and when I walked in the room, my voice was at a 25 the whole entire time. The fact that she was saying my legs were open, like, why were you so detailed on me? Like, I can't wrap my mind around it. I don't understand it. I don't, because I can't even tell you what shoes she had on that day, because I wasn't there for a woman. I was there for a man. So she knew detail for detail. She knew that I was fixing my hair, like all kind of crazy stuff. And I didn't know that was the objective. I didn't know that I needed to be a certain way to get a woman's approval. I really missed that mark. I missed that email. I missed that contract part of it. I totally missed that.
So, looking back, and you just said that the producers asked you, who would you hang out with on the show if you weren't, or beyond the show. So probably your personality and Sharice's personality wouldn't have been, it wouldn't been somebody you would have
Nope.
been in a
Nope.
homegirl with anyway.
Nope. Nope.
So,
I can't even tell you anything about her. The most I learned about her was something once I was off the show and I stopped filming, and I knew she was an esthetician. I didn't know anything about her, but she was very detailed about me. So no, we didn't have any conversation. I can't even remember us in a group setting. I don't know. Well, I'm off, so I doubt if they'll show any more of me, but I can't even remember being in a group setting behind the one that we were at, bar one. And I definitely don't remember that, but that wasn't nothing but the grace of God over all of that, because I totally missed that.
well, Let me ask you this. So, traditionally, men are used to, not necessarily used to, but traditionally, men are the people who get rejected. When they're trying to go after a significant other. Um, so, how did it? And maybe that's why nephew Tommy and the show they normally start off with a man being sent home, just to kick it off. How do you
Mm.
feel that you were the first woman to be sent home? How did you handle that? Did you call an old boyfriend? Did you call your homegirls? Did you eat ice cream? Like, how did, because in the end, nobody wants to be rejected.
Yeah. No, the first group of people I called were the initial group of people who I told I was going on the show, which was my best friend, my cousin, and my sister. And we already had a chat so I could kind of keep them abreast of what's going on. And when I called them, I was like, y'all know they eliminated me. And they was like, they eliminated you. I was like, yes, they eliminated me. And they was like, why? And I was like, I don't know. And then you would see people stating like, why did I keep asking why I was sent home? First of all, they're only showing clips because they knew I was going home. So they only gave little clips to make it seem like that's all I conversated about. We were there from 10 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That definitely wasn't the whole conversation that I had. And producers called me that night before and asked, like, what do you think happened or how do you feel? And I was like, I'm trying to figure out why, because I had great conversation with people. I don't understand where it went wrong. So they said to me, when you get there, ask. And to me, if you don't ask anything, you don't know what you need to fix or what you need to straighten out, because you got to understand at that point, it's nine men still there. Nine men that all looking for something different. And you're not gonna all find it in that one woman. So the ones that I cared about asking, what happened, those are the ones I asked, like, what did you see different? And the reason for me asking that also is that I've been in relationships and I've never got an answer to the why. And I don't know if they even showed that part yet, because I have to rewatch it again. But the why was just to find out something about myself, not really for them. So that's what it was. I got on the phone, I called them, we laughed about it. I went to sleep. The next day I kind of contemplated on, like, damn, like, what could I have done different? And everything I checked off, I wouldn't have done anything different. I would have done it myself, and I'll do the show again. I'll do a reality show again. I'll go again because I had fun doing it, and I met some amazing people, as I said on my social media posts. So nothing would have changed. I didn't beat myself up about it. I'm still ready to love. I am gonna find my husband. He's out there. This just opened up an opportunity where I was a little bit hidden because I don't really go out like that. This has shedded more light. So he's probably digging through the searches and inboxing me, because I have a lot of inboxes that I haven't responded back to as yet. But I'm gonna get round to it. I just haven't. I just had to take a woosah from Friday, and then I'm gonna go back into it. So yeah, I didn't lose any sleep behind it.
So, if you had stayed on the show, what are your the top three guys that you would have hoped you could have spent more time with to make it work, or to see if it would have worked?
That was one of the questions that I've been asked a couple of times. LJ was somebody that I spoke to, and I kind of got to really know him at the end. So he's one person that I would have wanted to really go out on a date with and get to know more. Alonzo, I spoke with him a lot on brunch day, just to find out what he's about, because he's older. Justice was really, really cool, and we would have had a lot of fun together. Really don't know if we would have dated. I don't know that part of it. And Samson, because he's older. A lot of them were a whole lot younger than I was, and a lot of them didn't have children. And that was one of my pet peeves from the beginning, because I have a 24-year-old and a 21-year-old, so a 22-year-old. So I wasn't really into anybody with any little babies. or no kids at all because they wanted children. I don't want any more children. So I wasn't going to lead anybody on to get in a relationship with me. And then we have this whole catastrophe about, oh, I want to have children. I want to have children. That's not something that I wanted. So LJ has a daughter, not a little daughter, but he has a daughter. Alonzo's daughter is grown. Who else I would have wanted to date just to see what and Samson, like I said, Samson. But that was it. Everybody else was either um don't have children, like I said, so wasn't something I was looking for, or a whole lot younger than I was looking for. Mike, I did say in one of the interviews that I like Mike, but Mike is my type as far as appearance. I didn't know Mike's personality. I didn't know anything about Mike because I had never had any personal dates with Mike. But as far as dark skin, chocolate, thought he was laid back, but as I find out, he's not as laid back as he come across to be. His appearance was somebody that I liked from the beginning. But as I got to know him and I know things about him, we wouldn't have worked out either.
So we do have a few people in the chat watching the live stream. If you would like to ask Dominika a question, you can go ahead and put that in the chat, and I also put the link in. So in case you want to go live with us, we only have a few more minutes. And so one of my last questions, Dominika, is that during the roundtable interview before the first episode, you mentioned that your search for love included someone that's willing to care for you during your bouts with lupus. And in case our viewers don't know, lupus is a chronic long-term disease that can cause inflammation and pain in different parts of your body. And so every now and then you might be admitted to a hospital, or you just might need some extra care. Talk to us about how that has been. Is that something that you are diagnosed with when you are a child, or does that develop? And how is there a stigma? You know, a lot of people, when they hear that you have something wrong, they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. How has it been in finding love?
Um, when I was diagnosed with it, I was in at that point a 6-year relationship already. So we were already very comfortable with it. This wasn't something that I was born with. I found out about it in '07. Just through, I started getting bruises. I couldn't walk, and they just really couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And at that point, I was like, Lord, you're going to have to fix this because I am sick. So I started thinking that it was mental for me. Once I found out, the guy I was dating was already in a relationship with, so he pretty much was there the whole entire time. And then I met somebody else who I didn't know didn't like hospitals. And so that was just something that I didn't discuss from the beginning of the relationship, which I really didn't think I needed to because of their profession and because of a situation that they had with a daughter of theirs. So I didn't think I needed to really like discuss like, you like to go to the hospitals, or are you scared of needles or something like that. But when I would go, I would notice like he'll call and check, or it'll take him a long time to get there. And once I addressed it, I'm like, why did it take you forever to get here? And he just said to me, like, um, because of my daughter's situation and because of when my mom died, I just really don't do hospitals well. I don't, and I understood it and I respected it because with me, I go through a lot. So half of the time when I do go to inpatient, I won't even tell my family that I'm there until I'm in the room, because the whole process of it, for me getting finding a port and x-ray and finding veins and all of that kind of stuff is a lot for people. It's a lot for me. So I don't even tell my family until I get a room and I'm like, oh, I'm at such and such hospital in room such and such. And at that point, I really just want them to bring me something to eat because I hate hospital food. I hate hospital food. So after that relationship, I've been single since, but I've learned to add that to one of my questions of how do you feel about a hospital and how do you feel about being a caregiver? You know, like what's your take on that? And not to say that you got to be a caregiver where you bathing me and you got to do that because God's grace, I haven't never been where I couldn't do help, but just how you feel overall about needles, how you feel about just being there holding my hand. You may have to sleep to the hospital for 7 days. So that's how that came about, of me asking, are you a caregiver? Are you afraid of hospitals? What, because my last relationship, I didn't know that. I didn't ask that because I didn't even think that was a question. And so as the more you date, the more you find out about yourself. Well, you should be finding out about yourself. And then that puts you in a predicament to say, okay, this is where we're going to go, and this is where, because this is a part of my life. It's long term. It's not going anywhere.
And I appreciate you going into those details because it is, you do want someone to care for you just as Val say, in sickness and in health. And people have to realize that it's not always going to be the best picture. People are going to need each other in a real relationship when
Yeah.
when there's down times. And some people don't, they don't get that, or they don't think that far in advance. You would just think they would be that mature, but some people don't.
Not.
So
Yes.
yeah.
I always say I just want somebody that love me naked. Because my
Amen.
hair can fall out. I can wake up and not be able to move. And some days I'm not feeling good and it will put me in a bad mood. I want you to bring me home flowers, not say, oh, how you feeling today? Because yesterday you was, no, love me completely naked, without no makeup, without no hair, loud. The life of the party, opposites do attract. So I'm sure my husband won't be the life of the party because I am. Love me who I am, because I will give the shirt off of my back. I am a listener. I am a supporter. I pray over my man. That is me. But I come with who I am, and there is somebody out there is going to love me and the way I am. He's not gonna complain that Sharice and Mike thought I was loud at the reunion. You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy how I was portrayed like I was the loudest one. But the more and more I talk to people that's actually was on the show with me, they like all of us was like that. We were having a good time. I still to this day don't know where that came from or why I came from, but hey, people are entitled to their own opinions, and they like assholes. Everybody have one.
Amen to that. Do you think you might have to leave Miami to find someone? You know how, like, kind of the scripture says, nobody really appreciated Jesus in his own hometown. You got to go out. And so, have you thought about, maybe I need to move out of Miami?
Yes, listen, my kids are grown. I am so ready to go. I actually met somebody from Atlanta at a bar. I went to a dinner party. I got there early and he was from Atlanta. I've met somebody from DC at the Jazz in the Garden. So I talk to people. I'm willing to travel. I'm willing to move. I've been at my job for 21 years. I got 4 more years to retire. So absolutely, I am ready to go. If he's there, I'm out.
So you're getting lots of love from the people in the chat. So there's some people, and I think one of them is your cousin, or at least she called you cousin.
Yeah. Hey, Chris. Thank you.
So, is there anything that you want to add that I didn't ask about your experience on the show?
I would love to, but I would love for you to tune into the reunion because it's gonna be so hot.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that. So, so you've already taped the reunion. Is
We
that what?
haven't. We haven't.
Oh, you haven't. But
No,
you
we
you
haven't.
but so are you planning to set some people straight on how they presented themselves or portrayed you?
I got some notes and I got some receipts.
Okay. Notes and receipts. You're gonna pull out your notebook and everything. Okay. So when are you scheduled to record or tape the
Saturday.
reunion? Oh
Saturday.
wow, it's moving fast. So this
Yeah, everything
Saturday.
is moving fast. Everything is moving fast. Yeah.
Okay, well, I definitely will tune in for that reunion. And we all will be tuning in to the next episode as well as the reunion. And some people are, Candace Sunshine says your energy is through the roof. And
Thank
LaQuisha
you.
saying, love it. That's my auntie. And Akila is super proud of you. So, yeah,
Thank you guys
sometimes
for
you have
tuning
to
in.
jump through some hoops to get to where you're supposed to be. So one last question: what did you learn about producing a show? Or did you know, because some things, you know, they're going to make drama out of even when there is no drama because it's a TV show.
It's
What
a
did you learn
reality.
about that?
I think the most shocking thing was to me that they had to pick our wardrobes. Like we had to send in wardrobes. I didn't know that. And so when you look at a lot of things, people seem to say, like, why did she wear that dress? Or like I brought a whole new wardrobe and nothing I picked from the new wardrobe, they picked for me to wear as far as going on camera. Everything was something that I had already. A lot of people I see was saying something about your hair. You never know when you're going to be called for dates and stuff like that. So you guys don't get to see that part of me, but for my castmates, I have to speak up for that. It's like a call at 1 o'clock and you have to be there at 5. You don't have time to go to your makeup artist. You don't have time to go to your hairstylist. You got to make it do what you got to make it do. As far as production too, I kind of found out that some people in the production had personal relationships with other people. I thought that was kind of weird. And when I play things back, I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why I was kind of sent home too. Production was very good. I wouldn't take it. They made us feel at home. Well, let me speak for myself. They made us feel at home. I wasn't nervous from the first day to the last day, which was really awesome because I didn't know what to expect. I was one of those people who's never been on TV before. But that part of production that they pick your clothes, and I know they have a lot to do with the way they line you up and what you wear, and they don't want people with the same clothes. But I was really shocked that we had to send them like our outfits. I hate that picture right there. They
And
did
you know
no
what? I was trying to not show the picture before I told you I'm about to show the picture, but I apologize. But I'm showing this picture because you brought up the photos, and another a blogger was like, "Why do they have them in the front of a white background?" And some of their, you know, they didn't pat their face down; they looking all
No,
shiny.
they actually, we pulled up. You go into a photo shoot, and they're saying like some of our faces have expressions because they're saying if you saw somebody doing this, what would you do? And I would do that shit right there. That's my face. I'd be like, what? So why they chose that picture? Because I had a lot of good pictures. I don't know, but they gave raw footage. They didn't filter us. They didn't do anything with those pictures. I don't know whose idea that was, but that was like at the beginning of the mixer. And it's just like, come in, take a couple of pictures, doom, 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 and go back out. So that picture I absolutely hate, and everybody's using it. So when people are asking me for pictures, I'm sending my own pictures. I'm like, go on my Instagram and get a picture because that picture right there, I absolutely hate.
Well, I won't show it again, and I apologize because
It's not
you
that
know.
bad, but I just don't like it.
But
Yeah.
once I started looking at, you know, someone was saying this is gonna be the cast, and they were like, wait a minute, why do they have them doing? And you just explained it. They are saying what would happen, what would your facial expression be if
Yeah.
this happened? Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
exactly what that was. They was asking us if you see like a guy that you like, you would be like, damn. Like we were just, they was asking us questions and we were doing facial expressions to the questions. So a lot of our faces are certain ways because they were asking us questions on how would we look and stuff like that.
well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and we'll continue to watch the rest of the season. And we most definitely will look for the reunion episode because I
Yeah.
know you're gonna set some of the records straight, and we're gonna be looking forward to that.
I'm
So,
listen. I'm still gonna be a lady. I got people saying cuss them out, do this. That's just not me. Y'all don't want me to meet my husband because this mouth right here. That's why I said a lot. The Lord was on a lot of people's side that I saw this afterwards because this mouth right here is deadly, and I'm all gas, no brakes. So I'm not going to, if you're looking for that act a fool and unladylike, I'm not going to, but I'm going to be very direct in what I'm saying. I'm going to ask direct questions, whether I get an answer or not. That's on them, but I'm going to be very direct. I hope I don't have to be cursing and carrying on. That's not the mission. I just, yeah, watch the reunion and watch the rest of the show. The show is gonna be good. There's some exciting stuff going to happen. I know bits and pieces. I don't know everything, and no, we don't know how they're going to show it because we're watching it every week with you guys. We have not seen it before. It's all raw to us. So when we're out at watch parties, looking, everybody like, shh, I said that. I did that. So that's a exciting part of it too, because you never know, like you said earlier, how they're gonna cut it up, what they're gonna show on it. So it's raw to us, but I can tell you it gets juicy. So keep watching all the way to the reunion.
We definitely will, and feel free if you want to come back and you feel like this is an opportunity for you to get your side of the story out. Just let me know. You
Okay,
got
I
my
will.
contact information, and
I
we'll
do.
go from there.
Thank you, Miss
So,
Steffanie, for having me. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in, that's commenting, my family and my friends, my greatest supporters. I could not have done this without you guys, and I still can't do it because you guys are still rocking with me. You guys are still saying my husband is out there. I know it's going on 6 years. I'm fully ready to be back in a relationship. And I know my person is there. Miss Steffanie, again, thank you guys for having me. If you need anything else from me, feel free to contact me as you did before. And I'm here.
all righty, and so we'll keep in touch.
Okay. Have a good one.
Bye. And we thank you guys for joining us. This has been the exclusive Ready to Love exit interview with Dominika Hawkins. And to find out more about what was going on at EUR Web, you can go to eurweb.com. And thanks. And we'll see you next time on the exclusive Ready to Love interview segment.